Welcome to another Mindful Monday. This Mindful Monday is going to be a little bit different. I actually want to reason with you all. Yes, let's reason. So whether you are parent, grandparents, caregivers, teachers, coaches, leaders in the community, but first let's talk about my disclaimer. I'm very passionate about parenting. I may say certain things that may offend you today in this Mindful Monday. However, this is not my intention at all. That's my disclaimer and I'm sticking to it. And for those who don't know who I am, my name is Oliver Levy. I'm a parenting consultant. I enable parents with actionable tools to help shift the mindset around parenting in order to guide your children to greater achievements without all that nagging, reminding, yelling, and other frustrations that we may go through. The first question I want to start off with is, first, let's take a look around us. Let's look on all the industries. Correct me if I'm wrong. Every jobs in the world comes with some sort of training manual. Sometimes they put you on probations from 2 weeks to 6 months. You know what? There's a bench here. Let me just reason with you guys. What about the most important jobs of all jobs? Parenting is the most important job. Well, from my perspective anyways. Parenting is the most important jobs. Look at what's happening in the world right now. What kind of conversation are we having with our kids? It's a tough world for parents. Not only that, but it's also a tough world for children, for our children. And don't get me wrong, the world we're living in right now, I think it's the best time for kids when it comes to technology and opportunity. It's all limitless. However, we as parents, caregivers, coaches, teachers, and other leaders must ask ourselves and understand these 6 questions. Who trained us all to address everything we're going to face over the next 18 years? Let's not be fooled to think that with our own intuitions and how our parents taught us is good enough. I call it the accidental parenting cycle. We are raising our kids the way we were raised. That's not good enough to raise successful kids nowadays. Think about that on this Mindful Monday. Number 2, how do we address a child throwing a tantrums in the middle of the shopping mall, for example, in a positive way? Be mindful that tantrums comes in all different ages. When we as parents get frustrated and say and act a certain way to our kids because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or we can't control our emotions because we are so frustrated, I call this the adult tantrum. What exactly are we teaching our kids? And if we do apologize for our behavior, the damage is already done. Be mindful that when we act like terrible tools, it doesn't mean that we're bad parents or a bad teacher or bad coach. It simply means that we're just not mindful of a few things. Number 3, in a positive way, how do we deal with an eye-rolling teenager who isn't listening? Who trained us to deal with such situations? If we're constantly frustrated with our teenagers, that means we're using the wrong approach, wrong tools, wrong strategies. We must do our research instead of saying, I'm going to do my best and hope for the best. I'm sorry, but that's not your best. Why? There's lots of solutions on Google right at your fingertips. When parents say that, that means they're not willing to put in the work when it comes to the future development of their child. I'm sorry, but it has to be said. This is the reason why I'd make my disclaimer. I want to reason with you guys today. Number 4, in a positive way, what do we do about a toddler who won't go to bed at night? At some point, some of us Google how much sleep our kids supposed to get. So who train us how to make sure our toddlers or any child for that matter get the proper sleep they need? Number 5, how should we handle kids who constantly fighting with each other? In other words, how should we handle kids who are dealing with sibling rivalry? Be mindful that sibling rivalry can last a lifetime. Have you ever been in some family reunions and see how nasty some sibling rivalry can get? How do we avoid all this? Do the best and hope for the best? And here's the question that hit me like a ton of bricks 9 years ago when I started to study about child psychology and human behavior. And this was when I was destined to find out, how can I be a better dad? How can I create harmony in my family? How can I raise successful kids. Are you ready for this? Number 6. I quote, "Where did we get the crazy idea that in order to make children do better, first we must make them feel worse?" By Jane Nelson. She went on to say, quote, "Think of the last time you felt humiliated or treated unfairly. Did you feel like cooperating or doing better?" Be mindful that it's not the kids nowadays or the problem. Some of us as parents are stuck using the old parenting tools we learned from our parents. Parenting is a tough job. We're here. Let's be mindful that we're supposed to educate our kids and equip them with modern tools so we can raise successful kids in these modern times. A friend of mine, an educator, Dwayne Matthews, usually asks, are we raising kids for 2020 or 2030? My question is, are we equipped to raise successful kids for 2030? Be mindful and equip ourselves so we can stay connected by being the change we want to see in our kids. And I'll see you next Mindful Monday. Oh, oops, sorry. By the way, I'm offering a free 3-part series. I enable parents with simple tools to create harmony at home. If you're an action-taking parents, click the free link in my bio or DM me for details. Only those who take actions see results.